Hello, team. Welcome to our first weekly sales meeting of 2023. This is a special edition of our weekly sales meeting as we'll be focused on our Q1 priorities and deliverables and our goals for the quarter. If this is the first time you've attended the weekly sales meeting references special edition, this is something we do every single quarter to bring visibility to the organization on the things that we've identified as organizational priorities, as deliverables for the quarter, and as goals that we're going to be striving towards as an organization and at all of our team level across the board. So first and foremost, want to get into how do we align when it comes to our goals. So everything comes back to the UMortgage vision, our core values, and our purpose statement, creating life-changing opportunities through home ownership. So, at the end of the day, when we're going through this process, we're always focused on the long term. We're focused on how are the things we're doing today going to align with the things that we want to be, the company we want to be long term, and how we serve our team members, how we serve our loan originators, and how they serve their community. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about what the themes are for this quarter. So, obviously, the way that we come to our priorities and our deliverables quarter over quarter is, of course, number one, focused on the long term. How do the things we're working on today lead to where we want to go long term? But we also listen to the feedback that we're getting each and every week from our team members. So, when we look at feedback, we're talking about report up. We're talking about our LO NPS surveys. We're talking about our borrower NPS surveys, and of course, our team member feedback within our peer-to-peer sessions and within the organization. So we look at that feedback. We look at everybody's experiences, how they, the processes that we have. Are there opportunities for us to improve? And we identify things that are priorities for us to improve across the board. So the 5 themes that we have for the quarter, number one, operational optimization. A little bit later on, you're going to be hearing from some of our leaders that are going to go through what that means and what those deliverables are. Number 2, we have leadership development. Number 3, we have team member development. Number 3, enhancing and improving our LO experience. That goes from our recruiting process to our onboarding process to our day-to-day engagement and how we're supporting our LOs at large. And number 5, tech updates and enhancements. So throughout this presentation, you're going to hear from different leaders from our organization that are going to go through our goals, our priorities, and our deliverables. The focus is how are we getting better every day as an organization? How are we making sure that we're living experiences everything in the way that we're leading our organization? How are we making sure that we're not, doing things to eliminate relationships and becoming a transactional company? It's all about alignment. It's all about making sure that we're doing what we need to do to have a pulse on our business, to be supporting our loan originators, to be supporting our team members, and making sure we're all getting better together as a team. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Gil Arbitsman, our CFO, and I'll be back shortly.
Thanks, Anthony. I'm Gil Arbitsman, Chief Financial Officer of UMortgage, here to go over our Q1 goals. Our goals are constantly evolving as we continue to grow and learn more about what's best for our business. Q1 goals are a reflection of this evolution. The next 2 slides give an overview of our Q1 goals. Many of these may look familiar as they were Q4 goals as well. We've updated our targets and also added 2 new goals. Goals number 10 and 11 are those 2 new goals added this quarter. The first, prior quarter commitments completed, is a metric that reflects how well we did forecasting projects that will impact our business, allocating the right resources, and staying focused on delivery. The next new goal is the number of escalations. This allows us to identify the types and frequency of escalations received week over week. It allows us to identify real-time coaching opportunities and trends that may shed more light on the report up and peer-to-peer themes. The next 2 slides show the current state as of mid-December for each of these metrics, as well as our end of Q1 target for each of our goals. As you can see, we're looking to increase our report up engagement, maintain our fantastic loan originator retention rate, and increase our loan origination volume as evidenced by leading indicators such as credit pulls and locks. We're also looking to improve our cycle times from app complete to clear to close, from the current rate down to 12 days by the end of Q1. We're looking to maintain our NPS score above 93, and our LO NPS score above 90. We're looking to increase the number of LOs by the end of Q1 to 500. And my favorite goal, homeowners served, we're looking to help 1,000 families achieve life-changing opportunities through home ownership in the first quarter. We're going to be tracking our pull-through rates, both credit pull to funded as well as lock to funded. And we're hoping to get those numbers above 40% and 80% respectively. And then those two new goals we talked about. We hope to accomplish at least 90% of our commitments for the first quarter. And we're hoping to keep the number of escalations below 5% of total loans. Now to hear a little bit more about our goals, I'm going to kick it over to Kayla.
Thank you so much, Gil. My name is Kayla Lopez, the Senior Vice President of Strategy here at UMortgage, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about the why of all of the goals that we just went through. So let's talk about the different types of goals that we have and why we have them. First and foremost, get better every day. So with our get better every day goal, we are focused on our report up feedback. Your feedback helps us drive the organization forward, helps us focus on priorities and projects each and every week that we really should be focused on. And it provides all of you the opportunity to come up with solutions for problems critical to any professional's career. Now, as we go forward, we want to measure the engagement of Report Up because, of course, it's great that we have this mechanism, but we really want to see of all of the people that exist in our org, how many people are we getting feedback from on a week-over-week basis? And we can notice that if we see a drop-off or something change, that for whatever reason, certain populations aren't engaged in Report Up feedback. So we're going to continue to monitor this even more this quarter. Next, our relationships, not transactions goals. Now, we build our businesses through relationships, as you know, and not transactions. So not only is it important for us to, yes, acquire or onboard or recruit LOs, whatever you want to call it, but it's also important for us to retain them, for us to continue to add value to our LOs and to our customers across the board. And so we are able to serve more communities if we can keep the LOs that we have and retain them, and then also continue to acquire more. And then, of course, our total credit pulls and our total loans locked. Credit pulls are a leading indicator to allow us to predict the potential volume that's coming down the line. And locks allow us to monitor progress of our goals, increasing loan origination volume. So again, it allows us to pull things forward that we can keep an eye on early on to see if there's any areas where we need to interject or help move things along, help our loan originators with tools and resources to get better, help our marketing team enhance different opportunities, help our capital markets team, whatever that looks like. So these are leading indicators that allow us to do just that. Next, our experience is everything goals. So there's three main goals here, even though we have two that are consolidated into one because they're equally as important. So first, we have our cycle time from application complete to clear to close. Now, of course, we're continuing to monitor this goal. When a loan has met all necessary requirements in a short window of time, which is 12 days for us, we are mitigating a lot of risk around investment of time, investment of energy, investment of resources, and all of the different parties that are involved can be rest assured that we have a more stable loan that's going to close at the end of this. So that's why we're going to continue to monitor our cycle time. Two more specific goals that are carrying over from last year are NPS scores. So NPS score and LO NPS score. Our NPS score, our Net Promoter Score, for those who don't know, this allows us to monitor our customer satisfaction. And it's wrapped around a single question, which is, how likely are you to refer business to us in the future? And what that tells us is they've liked us so much that they're willing to refer their friends and family to us, or that they had such a poor experience that they don't want to refer any business to us. And so that single question actually tells us a lot about how we did on a transaction. Of course, we dive more into follow-up questions and more details so we can understand how we can continue to get better every day. But we want to get that target at 93 or above. It used to be 90, so we are definitely increasing that this quarter. Now, for our LO NPS, we want to continue to get better every day in our operations team as well from the feedback of our LOs. So our NPS score goes directly to our consumers, and our LO NPS comes or goes directly to our LOs and comes from them as well, and allows us to measure our LOs customer satisfaction, which is, again, our number one customer. So it allows us to drive various training and coaching and relationship development activities related to these two metrics. The next is our create strong communities goals. Now with this, of course, as I noted before, we want to increase our total footprint of loan originators. The more loan originators we have, the more communities we can reach and support and help across the country on their path to homeownership. We want to continue to create those life-changing opportunities. And the best way to do so is to increase our volume of LOs that we have. And then, of course, we want to have 1,000 homeowners served this quarter. And the reason for this is because truly that is creating the life-changing opportunities through homeownership. So our homeowners served, for those who don't know, is also our funded loan count. So that is what we're striving for in the first quarter. And lastly, we have our own the moment metrics. The monthly loans locked and monthly credit pulls and their pull through to funded allows us to measure our operational efficiencies, including how many loans locked actually convert over to funded loans, same with credit pulls actually converting to funded loans, and control our controllables. Next, we have our deliverable commitments completed the prior quarter. Now, this allows us to see from this very presentation that you're about to see, our priorities and our projects for Q1, how many of those did we actually complete? So it allows us to say, how effective is our planning on the front end from the executive leadership team? Does it align with where we're going and all of the strategic visions that we have for our future of UMortgage? If it doesn't, obviously that could cost wasted time and resources and potentially people. And so because we want to be better at that, we should take a look back on how accurate we were when we initially planned these things. So we're going to start looking at that metric beginning this quarter. And then last but not least, our active loan escalation rate. So what this means is that we are targeting less than 5% of our loans that are active in the pipeline actually get escalated to our lenders or vendors or to our executive leadership team to help resolve issues. What this does is it allows us to identify the types and frequency of our escalations, putting more focus on it so we can reduce and mitigate those escalations from happening in the first place. Thank you so much for listening to all of the why behind these goals. And now I'm passing off to Dave Higgins for our first of our Q1 priorities.
Hey there, UMortgage. Dave Higgins, VP of the Business Innovation Team. And let's dive into our Q1 priority specifically on operational optimization. So in Q4, we went back and we looked at the LCs, the processors, and even the closers, and we mapped out their entire process from start to finish, and we built them a very robust resource library that we deposited into the knowledge library. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did for all of those other roles within operations. We're going to do the exact same thing for our post closers and for our funders in Q1. So we've already knocked out all the other teams in operations. We said, all right, we might as well just go ahead and take care of the remaining teams within operations and get their processes mapped out and build them a resource library as robust as what we did for our LCs, our processors, and our closers that we did for them in Q4. So that's our goal in Q1, set up that resource library for our post closers and for our funders. So that's the first thing in terms of operational optimization. The second one is what we're calling an issue log. So what is an issue log? An issue log is a data input system created for two teams in particular. First is capital markets. The second is for our operations team. The idea is to give them an opportunity to report out on details when they notice that errors get made, and what action they took to fix those errors, and if the issue has been rectified and what they did in order to rectify that particular issue. So what does this do? It creates opportunities for real-time recording of mistakes that they notice and then immediate problem solving. How are we rectifying these issues immediately? It allows us to provide visibility and analyze some of the fundamental problems and create systematic ways in which we can improve upon those problems in the future. So we're going to define the strategy for analyzing the data in conjunction with our report up and with our NPS. So we're going to take three data systems, report up, NPS, and this error log, this issue log, and we're going to make sure that we take a look at all of those pieces, those errors that we're noticing, and saying, what are the trends? What are we doing wrong? Where can we get better? So big thanks to all of the teams, including operations, business innovation team. we have noticed in Report Up specifically over the course of Q4, a sharp decline in the amount of feedback that we're receiving regarding communication errors and where things are being dropped. So we're saying that's great. Report Up is doing its job. We're able to pinpoint and figure out how can we make our lives easier? How can we increase the communication between LOs and operations to make sure that things are streamlined and that they're going well? Report Up did a good job for us in Q4. We're going to take it a step further with the error log in Q1. So this error log, this issue log is going to help us find systematic improvements that can be made, just like we did with Report Up. It's a data collection system, so that way we don't have to worry about these types of issues being patterns in the future. Couple of other products that we're going to launch in Q1 that have to do with leadership development at the HQ level and then also team member development at the HQ level. So for our leaders first, we're going to start to set up weekly practical application sessions. So utilizing the leadership playbook that just released not 2 weeks ago, our leaders are going to be practicing applying a rotating set of concepts from the leadership playbook that we have put together, very much like the partnership playbook that we provided to our LOs. Leadership playbook does something very similar for leaders. And the idea is to help our leaders sharpen their leadership skills, collectively better communicate with LOs, with their team members, with other teams in the organization. And what this does is it provides leaders with the tools that they need in order to set an example for their team members as well as how to guide their team members, how to inspire them, nurture strengths, hold their team members accountable, formulate relationships with your branches, so on and so forth. So that's one thing that we're doing in terms of helping out our leaders. Now, one other thing that we're going to do in terms of development of team members at the HQ level is the DISC relaunch. So we're going to relaunch the DISC program, and this is both a leadership development project and a team member development project for our HQ team members. So DISC is for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a personality assessment. We're going to relaunch it for all HQ leaders and team members that have been employed with the company for over 180 days. We're going to relaunch it in Q1. Why are we doing this? What we're trying to achieve is we're trying to create a leadership team that understands one another's dispositions and their preferred working styles, their preferred communication styles. We're trying to improve communication across the organization with our LOs, with our branches, between teams, between leaders, increase that level of collaboration. This is going to help not only our leaders and our team members identify their work styles, their communication styles, but it's also going to help our LOs, our branch managers understand exactly how they like to communicate, what are the best ways in order to work with us, increase the collaboration between different people, because if you understand yourself, you also are able to understand others just as well. So that's the whole purpose of putting this together, is to make sure that our team members understand how to communicate, how they can work with folks, how they can collaborate. So that's all for me right now. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Sabrina Lopez, who's going to talk a little bit more about some additional products that we've got coming up in Q1.
Thank you, Dave, and good morning, everyone. I'm Sabrina Lopez, VP of Operations. I'm excited to be before you today to speak to you about Operations Q1 2023 goals. Operations will be focused on the processor playbook. We'll work closely with our operations team members to give the processor playbook a round of updates to capture the structure, tools, guidance, and expectations of a successful UMortgage processor that aligns with our core values and vision. This will result in high adoption rate by all of processing. The processor playbook is a tool for all processors to use to maximize their productivity and empower them to operate and perform at their full potential by providing best practices in communication, process, organizational skills, partnership, quality, and professionalism. As it exists today, the processor playbook is not highly utilized and isn't providing the impact it is intended to. The outcome of this initiative is to provide you and the customer the highest level of support and confidence in your UMortgage processor, and to set our processors apart as the elite of the elite in the mortgage industry. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Beth to wrap up our Q1 priority of team member development.
Hello, UMortgage. I'm Beth Gordon, VP of People. I'm so excited to be here to roll out another set of quarterly priorities to start us off fresh in 2023. So Dave and Sabrina both mentioned earlier that team member development is a major focus point for our organization next year. And based on a lot of feedback that we've received from all of you around the desire to continue to learn and grow, an important priority for the people team for Q1 is going to be a team member development plan. So what do I mean by that? And why is a development plan important? So the team member development plan will help leaders to build an individualized plan for their team members that will do two main things. One, it's going to identify key professional development and behavioral areas to encourage their team members to grow. It will also allow them to provide their team members with specific action items to improve on within a certain timeline. So the why behind this is, again, the growth and development of our support team members directly impacts our success as a business. We want everyone at UMortgage to continually feel challenged, excited, and to constantly strive to get better every day. Not only that, but the more skills that team members learn and refine, the better they are to be able to serve our customers. So speaking of our customers, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Todd Bitter to talk more about the LO experience.
Thank you. Next, we'll dive into our Q1 priorities for LO experience. We are developing origination scorecards in Q1. Now, these scorecards will help with performance, and they'll offer a gamified approach to getting better production targets and goals met. As a result, this will allow the team to offer coaching opportunities to help each LO get better every day, which, let's face it, that is our goal. This will also allow for us to give better client experiences. Now, better client experiences will lead to higher NPS scores. We already have an industry-leading highest in the industry NPS scores. Higher NPS scores lead to more referrals. More referrals lead to higher production for the individual LOs. And LOs that are producing at a higher level are a happier LO, and they end up being a retained LO, and that is the ultimate goal. Now, one other thing that we are going to do to help the LO experience in Q1 is we're rolling out new commission vouchers. So what that'll mean is at the end of the pay period, within a couple days, you as the LO will directly receive your pay voucher that will line out each individual loan that you're being paid for on that particular pay period. In the past, we've had a few little wrinkles where LOs thought they were being paid on loans that had closed just past the pay period, or that did close during the pay period and for whatever reason was missed. This will fix all that. This way, each LO will know exactly what loans are on each pay period. And if there's a mistake, it can be rectified well in advance of payday. So there's no late minute rushes to fix it or correct a paycheck. Again, this will, in the end, even though it's something that sounds very simple and small, will lead to a much better experience for each individual LO and make our job at the corporate level a much smoother process for paydays. Now, I'm going to pass over to Nancy Petersen, who will continue on with our LO experience.
Thanks, Todd, and hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I hope you guys all had a great New Year. I'm Nancy Petersen, VP of Product here. I lead our product and technology team, and I'm here to talk about all of the tech initiatives for Q1. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we are scaling, and we're scaling at a very, very fast rate. And so with that, we need to constantly improve our client experience, but also our LO experience as well. We're not the same company that we were yesterday, nor a month ago, and so we have to continue to evolve. So starting in Q1, we're going to be leveling up and focusing on our LO's end-to-end user journey first. And then in later quarters, we're going to layer in the team members' experience and then also our customers and partners' experience as well. And as we build out the LO experience in Q1, we'll be accounting for the LO's journey starting at the very beginning when they discover UMortgage to the end of their journey, which we're hoping is when they retire with us. And I know it sounds like a lofty goal, but it's truly important to us and we truly believe in it. And the goal for this initiative is to evaluate how we can improve our LO's experience, not only at the transaction level, but also at our relationship level with them as well. And as an outcome for this initiative, we'll have a fully documented end-to-end user journey map that includes key event milestones, customer engagement, interactions and dispositions, and also key performance indicators, also known as KPIs, to ensure that our LOs are satisfied. And you're probably asking why. Why invest the time and resources into this initiative? And I'll tell you why. It's because we're listening to our LO feedback in their report up. It's telling us that they require different level of support at different milestones. And I'll give you guys an example. We've got a couple of retail LOs that joined us recently, and they are just not as familiar with the vast variety of lenders that we work with, right? To them, at their previous company, they only worked with one lender, maybe two. And so we want to make sure that we are providing them the support that they need, because when you give them 17 lenders day one, it's overwhelming. You got to learn new process. You got to learn a different investor and their guidelines. You got to understand the cycle time and so forth. It's a lot to take in, and it's something that we need to account for. We're constantly getting better, and we're also learning and listening to report up so that ultimately as a company and as a team, we get better 1% every single day. Now, moving over to our tech upgrades for Q1. First on the list is building out a robust loan trends analytics tool. The plan is to take all of our data that we receive from our investors and also from our LOS to build trends and predictive analytics, which we can ultimately use to make data-informed business decisions quickly, also with certainty. And I'll give you a couple examples. For our operations team, they'll use this report to ensure that they can manage their capacity appropriately. Again, looking at our investor cycle times and performance, this should allow us to learn how we can manage our capacity, our resources appropriately. And then for our LOs and capital markets, this allows them to use this report to look at previous trends and also look at the predictive analytics model that we're going to build them so that we can send the right loans to the right investors based on the loan characteristics and also market conditions as well. We're going to continue to evolve this tool over time, but we'll include different data models as well. But this is going to be our first iteration in Q1. And now moving to Microsoft. As you all know, the Microsoft Phase 1 did get launched in December. And with the org growing out of Google, we had to do this. We migrated all of our team members to Microsoft, and the need was there. This allows us to do a couple things in Phase 2, which is coming really soon. One, it's going to be a centralized support hub, which we'll be introducing all within the Teams chat. You'll be able to ask and receive answers quickly to all of your frequently asked questions, or will be directed to a knowledge library article that has more context to the question that you're asking. And in the event that we may not have the answer for you, you'll have the ability to request a support all in one place, because today you are going in many different directions, whether that's compliance, marketing, or IT. You'll be able to do it all in one consolidated place. Secondly, we're looking to move out of workplace. And again, it's because we are growing. We're growing out of workplace as well. So we'll be replacing our workplace community with the Microsoft equivalent called Yammer. We want to reimagine our community. We want to make sure that all of our LOs feel supported. And today, there's one chat group for all of you, but we also have started to break them down into smaller groups, which we found to be more successful. We want to make sure that you are involved in what you want best, whether that's growing social media or improving your realtor relationships and so forth. You'll be able to get that in the coming soon Yammer community environment. And the third piece for Microsoft is we're moving the knowledge library from Workplace over to SharePoint. And naturally, it's because we are moving out of Workplace. They will now be in SharePoint. So we'll be building out a whole SharePoint website for all of our internal team members, but also for our LOs as well. 2 more upgrades for you guys. First one is a network security upgrade. We're moving over to a company called Proofpoint, which just allows us to ensure that we keep cybersecurity at bay, but also that we're providing training and resources, not only for our LOs, but also for our team members as well. And then lastly, our UMortgage website revamp. It will get a new look and feel. We're also going to have a strategy around it as well to ensure that we're converting all of our LO visitors to actual UMortgage LO. So we'll be leveraging various strategy and tools such as A/B testing to introduce new things in the mix so that we are converting our LOs into actual UMortgage LOs. So with that, we've got a lot of things underway. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Anthony to wrap us up. Thanks, guys.
Hello, team. Great job across the board from all of our leaders today on our deliverables and priorities. But this is the presentation of the work that we've been doing for months now to get us to this point, and we're excited to do the work. We're excited to get better every day as a team. But big picture, want everybody to realize that we've been doing this quarter over quarter, showing everybody on the team what our priorities are, how we're getting better. The gap between settling for who you are and focusing on getting better every day is a big gap. A lot of organizations slow down on how much they focus on getting better, and they just focus on stabilization. We've built our foundation and we've invested in our infrastructure to be able to be the best organization, the best platform for loan originators long term. All of the investments we're making this quarter and as we get into future quarters is all about scalability. It's all about best-in-class experience. It's all about making sure we keep our cost structure in a place so we don't become a high-cost loan origination platform. It's all about making sure that we fulfill our mission of being the best platform for loan originators that eliminates all of the other platforms. So, we continue to focus on your experience, we continue to focus on our team member experience, and we continue to focus on getting better every day. So thank you for attending the weekly sales meeting. We appreciate your feedback. One major call to action: report up feedback, LOMPS feedback, peer-to-peer session attendance and feedback. Everything you heard today is about taking your feedback and translating it into improvement, translating it into optimization, translating it into our long-term success. So please keep giving it, keep engaging. We are listening. We're focused on getting better. Just because we don't improve week over week doesn't mean we're not going to improve month over month or quarter over quarter. So we're focused. Have a great day and talk to you guys soon.